A quick video to demonstrate the use of index formulas and match formulas in conjunction with each other. So I set up a quick reference table here. A through F columns, 1 through 6 rows with some values. Looks a little like a bingo card. In fact, you could use this as a kind of a bingo card. So the way the index formula works is it has three parameters. First is an array of cells, in this case E6 through J11, and then you tell it of that array what row do you want, followed by what column do you want. So I just manually typed row 1, column 2. So if we look at this grid, this is row 1, this is column 2. So it's going to retrieve the number 12. And if I press enter, sure enough, it retrieves the number 12. Now if I was looking for 63, then it would be row 6, column 3. So let's try that. Row 6, column 3. 63. So row 6, go down to 6, and then column 3, 63. The reason I have the RC Cola logo on here is to help you remember rows and then columns. So when you do this formula, the 6, the first one, or after the first comma, is your row. After your second comma is your column. So it's always rows, left to right, and then column. Okay. Now, as you know, you can always replace these hard-coded numbers, the 6 and the 3, with a cell reference. So this is the same, starts out the same formula using the same array, E6 through J11. But now instead of typing a value in the formula, the row it's going to get from B4, which is right here. The column it will get from B5. So now if I do row 4, column 4, this formula will update. So if we look 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, sure enough, this is retrieving the right number. So if we go 6 by 5, okay, so it's going down to row 6 and over 5, which is 65. Okay, now if you enter a value outside the range, you will get an error. So for example, I said row 7. There is no row 7. There's only 6 rows. So typing row 7, I get an error. But anything 1 through 6 for either of these, and it will retrieve whatever is in that location. Okay. The match formula can find a value in either a column or a row. So what this is, your first parameter, what are you looking for? Second parameter is where are you looking? What range of cells are you looking in? Comma 0 says return an exact match. There's also the option for comma 1 and comma 2. I never use those unless you want to do like a fuzzy match, like if you had an alphabetical list in like a directory or something and you search for zebras. If zebra is not there, it'll find the closest word alphabetically to zebra that is in the list, which I have never found a practical use for. So that last parameter, I just by default, I always do comma 0. Okay, so what we've got is we're looking for the number 3 in this range, comma 0. And what it will do is it will retrieve the position in the range where that number is. So the number 3 is the third one in the range. I'm going to real quick, G, H, I, J, K, L. Now you see some of these formulas went to error because I changed things. I'm going to do this. It'll make it easier to see what's happening. Okay, so now instead of looking for the number 3, let's look for the letter J. Okay, so letter J is the 1, 2, 3, 4th row out of that list. So of D6 through D11 of this range, the letter J is the 4th one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Letter J is the 4th one. So if I change this to letter H, it should be the 2nd one. Sure enough. I'm honestly not sure if this is case sensitive. Let's find out. It is not. So that will return whether it's capital or lower. I wasn't sure on that. G will be the first one. Now I can do the same thing across this way. So this is range E5 through J5, and I'm doing the same thing. So where is the A? It's the first one in that list. So if I go to C, it should be a 3. E, it'll be the 5th one. Okay. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can use match with references the same way you did with index. So instead of hard typing G in here and hard typing E, what I've done here is this one looks to B13 right here for what we want to find. So B13 is G, so this is looking for a G. So if I change this to an I is in the 3rd position, J is in the 4th, etc. This is doing the same thing, going left to right. So this is our E5 through J5, and it's looking here. So whatever I type here, if I type a B, B is the 2nd position, C is the 3rd position, D is the 4th, etc. Okay. So now what you can do is, we know that index, okay, so you have an array. You tell that you want row 6, column 3. We know that you can use the match formula to find a value in a row or a column. So here I've combined everything. So here we've got our range, E6 through J11. And I'm using B13 again, so whatever value is here, B13, it tries to find it in this range. And in this case, B13 is J, which is going to be the 4th one in the list. And then it does a match on B14, which is the column, and tries to find it in this range. In this case, that's going to be a 4. So what we're going to end up with is, in this array, it's looking at the 4th row, 4th column, which should be 44. Yep, and that's what we get. So this is how you can use an index and match combined to do a 2-way lookup. You can also just do a 1-way lookup, which is really common. For example, and do something like this. Just do a few numbers. Let's pretend these are employee numbers and these are names. So you could do something like where you put an employee number here and you want to retrieve the name. So you do index. This is a common use of this kind of situation. Oops, wrong sheet. So we want to use the index, column match. Match, and we want, what is that? B18, comma, this, 0, comma 1. Okay, so what we're doing is looking on sheet 3 in range BB, which is here. It's my array. Find whatever value is in B18, so this would be employee number 1, looking in column A. And then my original, this is my index, there's only one column, so I just hard-coded a column 1. So now, what did I do? 1 through 9. So if I change this to a 2, it retrieves Jack, Peter, Mary, Jane. So we can confirm, is employee ID 7 really Beth? Yes, employee ID 7 is Beth. 8 is Kayleen, and 9 is James. So that's a very common way to use something like this.